Club members everywhere. Adam Hewison here, co-founder of MarketClub with your daily update for the major markets. You know, one of the big untold stories in 2012 is the fact that the stock market is up 15% for the year and has outperformed every other asset class, including gold, silver, commodity prices, bonds, you name it. The last time this happened was in 1995, so it's a pretty unusual. With a couple of months left to go before the year end, we'll see how things play out on that front. Now, it could be argued that the massive ongoing stimulus acted to propel stocks higher. It could also be argued that it was the policies of this current administration that pushed stocks higher. Either way, the fact is the market is higher for the year. As traders, we try not to think about who or what is causing the market to move. We simply like to get the direction right and go with the trend. Late last week, Lindsay created a very powerful video on the stock SkyWest. The video runs about 4 minutes and explains how, using our trade triangle technology, you can significantly outperform a traditional buy and hold strategy. I think you'll enjoy the video. So it's on the blog. Check it out. Also, you'll have a chance to get my ebook as well, which is there as well. Last week, we talked about Apple stock, the fact that it had come back into a Fibonacci retracement buy zone. The stock is up 2.5% today. So let's get started and look at the markets and see what's going on. It's a pretty interesting day. Of course, we have the debates tonight, which is going to play very much on the markets on Tuesday. So let's go to our portfolio manager and let's go right to all of our portfolio. So let's start off with the S&P 500. And here we have the S&P 500 right here. And it's a minus 70, so it's a trading range. And that's pretty much what's going on right now. We sort of locked in this trading range right now, right there. It's sort of like we're sort of stuck in the trading range. And we may go back and forth for a while, but the trend is longer term on the monthly is still positive. I tell you what, before we go any further, I wanted to mention one thing which I didn't do. And let's just go back to our members blog. And this is it, Market Club page. And what I wanted to share with you is this, is that we have a poll going on right now, which is right here. And it's the the final presidential debate tonight. You can vote if you're going to watch it, not watch it, don't care, whatever. But we'd like to get the feedback from you. But be sure to vote on the poll today. It'd be kind of fun to see what you all are thinking. So anyway, let's go back to what we do best, and that's looking at the markets. So let's go back to our next market. That's going to be pretty much the Dow, which is under a lot of pressure with GE today. And the same pattern there. You're sort of going sideways, minus 70. We're in an oversold condition with the bottom of the Donchian trading channel. Chances are we're going to see this market move sideways and probably go back up again. So let's go back to our next market. This is the NASDAQ. This has been under a little bit more pressure. Of course, Apple has been under big pressure for the last week or so. And we talked about this market, Apple, on Friday. And it's, of course, up today. So we may be at the lower end of the range right now. It's minus 60 trading range. You can see quite clearly that the monthly is up, which is the key one to look at. Minus 60 means a trading range. And that's exactly what the market's doing right now. And I think the fact that we're down towards the lower part of the area, we could see a bounce from this level coming up, but it may not go as far as everyone thinks. So let's watch that very carefully tomorrow when we post debate and see how things play out there. So let's move on. Some interesting markets right across the board, one of which is the crude oil market, which suffered a big move on Friday, down quite a bit, $2.50. It sort of stabilized a little bit. It hasn't moved up, but again, we've got the 60% trading range. And if we just look at this market, we can quickly tell. So 60, you got the monthly up. And we can see that we're just sort of building this base. Potentially, a potential base is not completed yet. As we said, the line in the sand, which we talked about, is 94 on the December contract. So $94 a barrel. If it goes over there, then we're definitely going to go higher. And this is an explosive market because of the potential problems that could erupt out of any one of those Middle Eastern countries. And it's still undetermined what's going to happen. So anyway, let's see how this thing plays out. But generally speaking, if we see the market, I think, close higher for the day, meaning if it closes higher than last week's close, which I believe was around 90.30, I think we'll see this market do better. So let's play that one day by day. So again, it's a trading range, and we want to see some confirmation that the market, in fact, has made a turn. So moving along, and you can see this is the USO, which is the ETF that tracks oil. And again, it's sort of at the lower end of the range. This sort of 33 level is a sort of an area where it's found support in the past, like here and here. So I would not be surprised to see this market potentially pop up. We're below the parabolic, so we may see a little bit more weakness. We can go down and test the lower end of the Donchian trading channel. So we'll let that play out. So on the Forex, the euro against the dollar, clearly the euro is winning here. It's plus 75, so the trend's weakened a little bit, but we still have a weekly and monthly in a positive zone. And again, it looks as though you're sort of building this area that you're going to find some sort of support. Clearly, if anything happens in Europe, they actually decide they're going to do something that's constructive, then you could see a pop up to the 135 level on the euro. I think this has confounded a lot of traders because it hasn't gone down, and they were expecting it to go down. So we'll see how this plays out. But generally speaking, the trend is your friend. Plus 75 means the trend is up. You got the monthly and the weekly both positive, indicating higher prices. So I think that's what you have to look at right now. Again, we like to look at the markets and what they're doing as opposed to try to interject what we think they should do based on the fundamentals. Fundamentals are incredibly difficult to understand sometimes because you have two other opposing elements there. You have the fundamentals on one side, then on the other side you have perception, which is very, very powerful, and also the technicals. So let's clear that screen. Oops, that's not what I want. So let's just clear the screen and go to our next market. And the next market we're going to be looking at is going to be, I need to get the right, there it is. And that's going to be the gold. Now gold, I think, is pretty much, you've had a pretty good pullback here from the highs. If you look at where the highs were, just below the 1800, I think it was 1795 was the recent high. We've pulled back down. We've got down to around about the 1710. That's an $85 pullback, which is pretty significant. And you still have the monthly in the positive zone. You're at the lower end of the Donchian trading channel. You are oversold. So I think this week we're going to see gold go higher. This is a market that, in my opinion, if you look historically, longer term, and that's why we want to use our monthlies here, but if you look at this longer term and go back, sort of the maximum we've got on this chart, let's just do that right now. Here it is. And you can see it's pretty much, I'll take some of these indicators off, make it simple. But I think it's easy to argue that this trend has been pretty consistent since 2004. You've had some little bit hiccups, but that was the pattern we saw last time, was this breakout over this level right here and this solid base around 1500. So I think we could still see this market go over $2,000 perhaps later this year or even early next year. I think it's going to depend on how we tackle the incredible budget problems we have in this country. So let's just clear the screen and go to our next market. And the next market is going to be the copper. Copper pretty much, let's get back in. So copper pretty much is pullback. We think that probably the 355 level, which is the original breakout point, if you simply draw, we've talked about this before on this particular updates. So if you just draw right around here. So you have, was resistance. And now this is going to turn into support. So right around the 355, 357 level, this zone here, it's going to find good support in my mind in the copper. Plus you're oversold and you're at the lower end of the Donchian trade channel. And you have, if we clear the screen off and we put our trade triangles on, you'll see that we're absolutely back in. Longer term, the monthly trade triangle is still positive from 3.5625. I think that would be an excellent place to be a buyer in this market. So let's see how that plays out if we see any further weakness. So let's go on to our next market. and that's going to be silver. Silver to me is pretty much the same as gold. Let me rephrase that. Silver is like a poor man's gold. People go into silver because they think gold's going to go up and they think it's a better deal. But the reality, depending on how gold and silver, or certainly silver, is looked upon at any one time, and it's either an industrial metal, okay, or it's a semi-precious metal or precious metal. People look at it. So, but you've had the pullback. You know, you've had the sort of rounding top off here. So you've had the sort of rounding top. You've seen the pullback right here. This area right here, I think, should probably provide support. We had a buy at 31.31 on the monthly. You've come back. You actually traded down to 31.66, I think it was today, or yesterday rather. So you've come back to the original buy point. So this area, in my mind, should be good support, and you are in an oversold condition. So I think we're going to see silver go higher this week. And certainly, if you're would be a little more conservative, wait either for our weekly to go up or for the parabolic to kick in before getting really on the long side of this market. So anyway, we've covered a lot of markets, and we want to say thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see what happens after the debates tonight. Be sure to check out our poll. So let's just clear the screen in 1 second, and be sure to check out our poll on. We're going to have a poll after the debate as well, so you can vote and see who won. But please give us your vote here. It's right on there, and I'm still very interested, so I'm going to vote, and I'm going to vote that I want to watch it. So we just put this up 2 seconds ago. We already have 13 votes here, so obviously overwhelmingly in favor of watching the vote. Almost 69% are going to watch the vote, and only 8% are not good. Doesn't matter to me. So let's see what happens. I'm Adam Hewison. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great trading day.